Like many of you here, I had a father who fought in the Second World War, landing on D-Day, fighting at the liberation of Caen, later at Arnhem, and a grandfather who fought in the Great War. And even if they had spoken about their experience extensively, which they didn't, I would have no real idea, personally, of the absolute horror of war at its worst, of the fracture of ordinary life, of absence from home and family, of the loss of friends and comrades, which serving in war entails. A few today will have direct memories of fighting in war, and we honour you unreservedly. Our trust and hope that in the 2-minute silence there will have been enough space for you to experience some kind of healing and acknowledgement and recognition. Armistace has put together a splendid tribute in the form of a booklet called When the Guns Fell Silent, and there are copies on the table near the door for you to read, and I urge you to read it. He dedicates it to the 1189, yes, 1189 men of the 13th Princess Louise Kensington Regiment who fell in the Great War. He tells their story vividly, and he reminds us also of the Reverend Seymour Dallas, a chaplain to the forces who'd been a curate here, who then founded many churches as a missionary in Canada, and returned to fight and die in the Great War. Steve Atack's little book also describes the amazing war work of the Kensington voluntary workers, who, believe it or not, in a typical week made 10,000 surgical bandages, 8,000 surgical swabs, 1,000 handkerchiefs, 100 dressing gowns, and 1,000 various other items such as shirts and pyjamas and towels and sheets and so on. That was a typical week. Sometimes they worked harder than that, what he called a perfect hive of industry. Yesterday, I watched as men, women and children placed candles at the foot of the War Memorial outside here, each of you bringing your own silent contribution at this profoundly moving time. Today, then, a community remembers. It's a communal lament, and it weaves into its tapestry the laments of individuals who fell, as well as those who survived, whose stories and experiences are unique and unrepeatable. And alongside this communal lament goes our thankfulness as well, because gratitude is not only the proper response to the sacrifices of others, it's also the spur to believing and hoping that there can be a better way, a brighter future. We live under a sacred canopy, whether we admit it or not. And the God who makes it sacred is, I think, heartbroken whenever he sees his world at war. He says, I look for justice, but I find bloodshed, for righteousness, but I hear cries of distress. Read the moving words of God in the prophecy of Isaiah chapter 5. This is poetry of deep pity and compassion. And yet, as our readings this morning have shown, the God whose heart breaks at the sight of bloodshed and the sound of cries of distress is the God who promises a new world, who says it won't always be like this, who says, I will help you create a new world. The wolf will lie down with the lamb. Enemies will become friends. There will be no hurt or harm in all my holy mountain. This is the vision of peace. It's a vision that Jesus confirms in his farewell words, "Peace is my parting gift to you." The kingdom of God is a kingdom of justice and peace, and building it is entrusted